camera light on because it sometimes creates a glare. So give me 1 second while I'm setting all this up. Let's see here, content, live. Should be live now. I'm gonna do a little light adjustment here, see if I can see if that helps. That's weird. Let me see if I can get it to show the live. There we go. Push. All right, cool. So usually I wouldn't have all this. I got a new desk, so I'm trying to figure out the best way to film this because it can get, it's like all this other stuff in the way. Hopefully that is clear. Let me see if I can move the camera a little. Well, I'll leave the camera, that's fine. Okay, so let me take this Bluetooth out as it's only gonna get in the way. Hopefully that doesn't affect the sound. And we'll see who shows up. So I'm gonna give it just a second. Take a listen to this. For a second. All right. So let's talk about my experience so far. It's way better than I thought it was going to be. And I know it's nobody in this chat right now, but it's okay. I'm doing this live. So if you drop into the chat, this is a very spontaneous one. I was going to just do a video. I still may do a video on it. I will do a video on it, but a video talking about this. But I thought it'd be fun to go live because it's been a minute since I've done that. And I know some people watch my videos, but may not know that actually sometimes I will do a live video. Okay, so I am the type of person where I use live instruments, but I also do stuff that is not live, that's more drumming, whether it's programming it or something, or sequencing or playing in parts and not playing some parts, sampling. I do a little bit of everything. I don't think I'm really one way or the other. I think I just do whatever I feel at that moment. Sometimes I don't want to be set to boundaries, so I was nervous about messing with the push because I always thought of it as more of a looping type station, and I never really saw where I fit in that because I wasn't really into looping. But I do use loops and things of that nature sometimes to get started, especially with drums. So this is a perk track. I know it says keys, and boy, that light pollution is horrible. That's the only thing I'll say for videoing purposes. You must have to put your camera way far back or adjust the lighting in the room because this thing here is, let me see if I turn that off. Does that help? This thing is, well, man, it puts some, I don't know. I'll have to learn how to adjust the lighting because the light pollution is insane. But anyway, this thing is phenomenal. I'll just say that, to say the least, especially when it comes to drums, especially when it comes to creating quick loops and things of that nature. It's incredible, but there's so much more to it than even that. And I'm just getting started. So I'm not going to go through in here and teach you each part of it. But I want to show you just some of the highlights that I actually like in this. I was hoping that the light pollution would not be this bad. Unfortunately, the screen is so amazing and this all these lights that, yeah. And I can see why. Like if you were doing like live sets in a club or something where the lights are all dark, then you want to be able to see these lights, and it actually looks better when the lights are off. So give me 1 second. Let me see if I can turn this here off. See if that helps any. Not really. Just gets worse. Never mind. Okay. So I think this is another thing that's phenomenal is that you can put your. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the lights back on. There's no purpose in sitting in the dark if it's not really making a difference. Oh, well, you know what? Putting the light on actually took away some of the light pollution. Maybe that was all I needed. Okay, so one of the things that I really love about this is how easy it is to edit the notes and in the clips. See, I never really use clip and Ableton much. I always just use arrangement view. But I mean, you can pretty much select all the notes and get right to. I mean, it's got the MIDI capture, it's got the select all, so it's not complicated to press select and then hit the track and select them all if you want to edit the parts. The mixer is phenomenal. I mean, it's simple. The simplicity of it is just incredible. Now, I only got 3 tracks. This is a return track, and then the master track is here. But and here's all the tracks in the clip version view. But when you're in this particular version here, I'm gonna call it, I forgot what the mode is called, but where you're seeing the actual MIDI notes, especially on like the drum track where you can scroll, you can use the pitch thing here. Not, I call it the pitch wheel because it's a pitch wheel, a mod wheel, and it's also allowing you to move through so you can see your notes, how easy it is to grab a note. So like if I wanna, let's say this note's right here, which I've drummed it in, you could just do this and highlight the notes, and now you got them. Hold it down, nudge your notes, adjust the velocity changes, the range, the probability of it going off. And you can do that with each individual one, right? You can hold shift and touch something and change the color. So currently it's blinking this color, but you can change it to any color you want. So each one can be visibly have its own thing. It's so simple to edit too. I mean, you go into the edit mode, so up top, and you hit select all if you want to select them all. Or you can just select, like I showed you, just the ones that you want, and then do all your nudging, adjust the lengths, the probability, etc., etc. And then click done, and you're done with that. Make sure you use save a lot. I still got the little plastic strip on there. And then, you know, you have access to the tap tempo. You can change, you can hold this down and adjust your click and your time signature. You can turn off quantize like I did, adjust the global swing. You can do fixed length stuff if you want. I don't, I just play it in. Use your MIDI capture, which is right here. You got the note repeat for those that like note repeat. I'm not really into it. I use it occasionally, but it's not really my thing because I don't make trap drums or anything like that. But it's there for you, right? If you want to use it. So I think it fits like every bill that you need, because if you want a step sequencer, it does that really well. If you want, and then the new version that's coming out, or the new update for it, has the 16 velocity. So it has all of that that like the MPC has. It's got the MPE, which MPC doesn't have and the SP doesn't have. It has, you can put, it's Ableton stuff, so you can get racks with like the same type of vibes of what the SP has in it. So for instance, I'll show you something. This is my master channel for this one. So I'm gonna go back here. So I have tape on here. I put a tape on the end. This is my stereo widener. God Popsicle is the clone of the God Particle plugin, the Opticomp. So I have like my Curves EQ. So these are like my 1176 and my LA2A. But these are, all of these in here that you see here are either, well, that one's free, but the rest of them, you can buy them from individuals who make like plugins, basically using the Max for Live tools. So you pretty much got your master chain set. On my bus, I'm using percussion air and roar and a transient shaper. You can manipulate each one up here. It's pretty simple. There's roar. Roar is the distortion built into it. Percussion air is a convolution reverb that's built into it. I think Ableton's effects are actually really good. In my personal opinion, they're really good. They're solid. The only thing I ever wasn't a fan of with Ableton was the instruments just weren't that great to me. But that's because I think it focuses more on synthesizers versus on like natural instruments that I like personally. So, but if you're a sample based artist, man, this thing is phenomenal. And I'm in standalone, by the way, in case you're wondering. I am not in the controller mode because here's the thing: if you get the standalone version and you really like standalone, you got to know that it fits your bill, right? So for me, it fits the bill. Like it does everything I need. I can still add other instruments in if I want. I can sample in my guitars or bass or whatever, right? So it has all of that. This perk track is an actual Ableton instrument. It's this blue and white that gets like really here. So you can hear what it sounds like. So, and it's loud too. Like I had to turn the master down. You see, I got it at negative 19 dB. So if I turn it up, this little bitty speaker will pump out some sound. I know nobody was expecting this live because I wasn't gonna do live originally. So I probably won't get anybody in the chat. But I'm looking at it just to see. Let me just, yeah, do that. See if anybody comes in. Okay. So anyway, I'll keep talking about it, what I like. So just that simple, putting that together. This bass line, I'm using a Roar distortion. This is the same bass stuff I use in Ableton when I'm on the desktop. So it's really not any different. The only thing here is I'm just using it on an audio track. And oh yeah, and so like when you're on your tracks or whatever, you got your inputs you can select, right? Volumes, pan. So you have access to all three of them or whatever ones you have on. I only got 3 tracks. They're all right there. I showed you the clip. I showed you the actual where you can come in and edit it. This is one of the things I was talking about recently. So here's the drum rack, right? And your sequencer above it. And then over here, currently you're looking at, these are the clips, right? These are the sections. Oh, let me scroll. You can see it. I think if I hold shift, I can, there we go. Yeah. So if you hold shift, you can kind of narrow that in to where you can see it all. But you see I moved it up too. I didn't really want to do that, but it's up to you. All right, so you can see it now. Here's all right, so you can pick sections and just working with those sections. So it's gonna loop just in that section. Which is kind of cool. Or do that and go back and have the whole thing, right? So you're setting the loop points of where you want it to loop at. But what more it does with this is that if I want to add in a 5th spot and start working on just this spot, right? I can literally cut off that and just go here and start working on a totally something else, whatever else I want to do, or just fill it in here. I can start plugging in and you touch this one and then place it, right? Place the spot where you want it. So it's super easy to do. You want to get rid of that because I technically didn't have 5, only have 4. Then you do that. You can do it up here too, or hit crop and whatever. But it's really easy to use. Yes, it's expensive if you grab a brand new one. I would say don't buy it brand new. And if you're not sure if you'll like it, like well, first of all, the return policy is immaculable. It's like at least 30 days, if I'm not mistaken. Wait till Black Friday. I think they're gonna have a super deal. It's usually like 20 to 30, anywhere from 20 to 25% or something like that off, and then you can get it then. But this thing can replace, in my mind, if you don't need a touch screen and you're okay with no touch screen, this thing can replace my SP. It can replace an MPC even. I'm not saying it's better than either one. I'm just saying it can replace them. The one thing is missing that I think they're gonna probably add down the road is it doesn't have USB-C out audio. So in other words, excuse me, if I go standalone with this, I can build it in standalone and bring it back into Ableton, but it's not going to push my audio out of the USB-C. And so that's kind of a downside, but you got a lot of ins and outs. And there's two outs here for headphones out that you could actually just send it into something. So if you want to record into something else, you just, you have to get the proper cables for it, but it's still there, it's available. Okay, so let's talk about what else. So let's say I'm working on this track and I want to mute just one part. I want to mute the drums. If I hold mute and touch this, it mutes this. Right? Bring it back. So it's just that easy to mute. Let's say I want to mute the bass. Right? So that's really simple. Muting, playing, and performing with this thing is super easy. Having a mute button and a solo button even. So if I'm playing it and then I hit solo, right, I can solo. So this is all the stuff like with Koala, even being able to do that with the SP, being able to solo mute. It's so much easier on this to do it. It's crazy. Even the MPC, like it reminds me of the track mutes, right? So you got the track mutes kind of vibe. You can do similar. It's a similar vibe with that, like being able to touch mute and just press something off. You can mute multiple things or whatever at the same time too. So if you got this going, you want to mute it like that. So it's super easy to perform, and you could record, like I said, record into other stuff. So very nice on that. I don't see anybody in this chat. So I'm gonna do, if there's anybody in the chat, please speak now. If you got any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I'll try to answer. If not, no worries. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about what I like and what I've learned so far, and then I'm gonna be off for this video. I don't have all day to do it, so just doing what I can while I can. All right, so easy to convert stuff, easy to change the layout. So if you're in, like, let's say that you're in this perk track and you want a different layout, there's all these different layouts you can go through. I'm just going to use the 64 notes. Now in the 64 notes, if you touch the scale, you have the scales all here and then the different layouts for the scales. I'm in chromatic, but you could be, and even though it says key of there, I could put it in any key. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to put it on major for right now. But you can see here, you can go in key also versus chromatic. And now all the pads, all your notes are here. You don't have to worry about it ever being out of key. I prefer chromatic because I like to learn the scale. So that's kind of my vibe of working. But you don't have to. You could obviously lock the scale and just be in there. You also can hook, and I can't show you this on camera, but you see I'm not pressing here, but you see it lighten up. So I have my launch key plugged into here, and you can use the launch key with it and then play, like, cause so some people don't want to play on pads. I'm one of those people who used to not like playing chords. I'm starting to learn you can do it. It's not super complicated, but if I want to play on the actual keyboard, I can play on the keyboard directly into here and record that part too. So maybe I want to do my drums on here. I want to do my bass line with my bass. I want to do the keys with the chords with the here. I want to do my pads and my melody and lead over here. It's pretty much like all of that. And then if you didn't have the keyboard, you could just do everything here and be just as good. So it's incredible. Start a song in here or finish a song in here, really, because the way they set it up now, even with this, and the way you can go into each track line and drop out parts and stuff, and then you could build the whole song across, right, for however many, 8 tracks if that's what you want to do, and then or 8 different versions, and then you can on the new version that they're going to drop out real soon, I think it's like 12.2 something or whatever, there is going to be a way to sequence all your parts. It's almost like a little song mode, I'd call it. Um, it's not the greatest song mode I've ever seen, but I saw it and it looks pretty good for what it's worth. You can watch some other people's videos. I think they talk about it a little bit because Ableton, if you're in their their network or their if you bought into it and you're using Ableton, they let people. I know at least with the suite for sure, you can get the beta versions and try it out. Also, the chord expressions. I think I did a video on that one. Is coming for the push, so you can use that and lock your chords. It's gonna be way easier. So you could use like your scalar type chords in the push 3. So a lot to look forward to. A lot of good stuff. Um, Definitely something I'm going to be using a lot more of, obviously. And as I grow and learn, I'll share little bits and pieces with you. And again, this is not to sell this to you. It's just showing you showing you a different option, really, that's out there if you're ever interested in it. I know for one person I heard that it basically was so good that after they learned it that they got rid of their MPC and a few other devices. So you never know. It can replace certain things. It is really good like that. And it's definitely good if you're into live performing stuff and especially looping. Let's see. Okay, so that's it for this video. I'm gonna end it right there. I didn't have anybody in the chat, so I'm not gonna spend a lot more time. Definitely hit me up and ask me questions. I'll be doing more videos with this shortly so that you can see what it's like. Excuse the light pollution, but there's not much I can do about it. And I'm out.